Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're in a bit of a winter wonderland this weekend. Jesus, I've had a hectic start to the day. So I've come up to climb a specific peak called Hard Knot here in the Lake District, and you may be able to see behind me there's a little bit of a road there quite faintly that runs through the mountains here, and that's quite a famous road. It's called Hard Knot Pass. It's actually the steepest road in England, and what's really good about that road, it makes Hard Knot, the fell, very accessible, because you're already driven up half the mountain as it is. It's a bit of a cheat one really, but that was the plan. Drive up this mountain, park at the bottom of a Hard Knot, and you got about a half hour, 40-minute walk to the top. But you have got incredible views over the Scafell Range, and with this snow, which is what this week is all about, that would have been top draw. However, as I came in through sort of Ambleside and Windermere, I could see there was still a lot of snow on the fells. Got up Hard Knot about a quarter of the way, and there was cars skidding all over the place. And I thought, you know what, there's not a chance I'm risking it in my little red beast. I probably wouldn't have even trusted coming up here in a 4x4, to be honest. So I parked up a bit further down the mountain, scrapped the idea of Hard Knot, got the OS maps out, and just picked another peak. You can see I'm in a lucky position because I'm still in the middle of the fells here. So I've picked one that I'm headed up to now called Cold Pike, which is actually a very apt name for this week, isn't it? And then from there we should get some gorgeous views over the Scafell Range still. And then I may even make it up to Crinkle Crags as well, which is another fell that it's actually higher than Hard Knot, so the views are going to be as good, if not better, to be honest. But yeah, you may remember this time last year on my YouTube, I was mad to find snow. I left it too late and I couldn't find any. I even went up to Scotland. I only got a little bit in the end with my Three Sisters shot. This year I'm trying to be a lot more prepared. I really want my December and January shots for next year's calendar to have snow in them, and yeah, I'm making sure it happens this year. So super excited. This week's all about the snow, and yeah, I'm going to head on up to Cold Pike and, like I say, potentially good old Crinkle Crags as well. Let's crack on. So I'm just stopping for a minute. I've been walking for about 45 minutes. I'm just having a little bit of a reassess, to be honest, because the snow, I've got my snow, but it's really deep. It's super deep. At times it's been coming up to my knees, and you know, obviously it's really difficult to see where the path is and things like that. It just feels a bit dodgy, I think is what I'm trying to say, and I'm not really prepared, you know. I ain't got any proper crampons, and should probably have an ice axe and stuff here. It's proper snow, and I wasn't really expecting it, but obviously the higher I've got, the more I've realised it. So we're having a little stop here and just to sort of think what I'm going to do. This is Red Tarn down here, and that peak above it there, that is actually Cold Pike, so I've still a fair way to go if I want to go up it. I've got to, if I'm going to do it, I've got to skirt around the tarn there, head up there between them sort of crags, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It's a couple of hours till sunset still, so I've got a while. But anyway, for now I'm going to chill here, have a little perch, and what have we got here? Let's have a look. Let me just pop you down there. That'll do, I think. We've got a coffee, got nice cough, and we got a pasty from Morrison's that was 18p. So I'm going to sit here and enjoy this for now. I will be getting my camera out, I promise you that, because it's still gorgeous even where I am now, but I'm dying to get up there. We'll see. Perhaps the pasty will clear my mind a little bit.
Upon the discovery of some distinctive footsteps in the direction I was headed, I'd found a new sense of optimism, and I felt comfortable again to head off in search for some photogenic, wintry scenes.
So I think it's probably time to turn around now. If you have a look here, I am buried, and that's the direction I'm supposed to be going in, up towards Great Knot. Keep changing, but yeah, it's just dodgy. It's looking pretty unforgiving up that way, and my instinct, my gut feeling is just telling me, Henry, get back down to where you were, get back down towards the tarn. So rather frustratingly and a little bit reluctantly, that's what I'm going to do. You can see the light over the right shoulder there is absolutely gorgeous. I'm hoping some of that's going to make its way over, but I'm abandoning ship for this fell at least. I'm going to head back down towards the tarn, and en route we had a gorgeous view of the Langdale Pike, so I'm going to get myself back down there and probably get set up in the hope that this light sort of makes its way over to us. If not, if the light doesn't come, it's still an incredible view. So my plan was to kind of go up there, see what was there. If it wasn't any good, come back down to this location. So it's sort of a plan B, but I think we're going to get a really nice photograph down there, so I shall meet you down there. Right, as you can see guys, we're finally set up for what funnily enough is the first photograph of the day, and you're going to have to excuse me. I'm going to be shooting and talking here because I'm trying to make the most of some of this beautiful evening light that we've got here in the lakes. And as you can see, what a scene, absolutely beautiful. It really does speak for itself. I mean, I don't really need to give it too much of an introduction, but the one thing that I really like about this is you see the sort of main, I don't know, sort of range of mountains there right in the middle. That's actually the Langdale Pikes, and they're a really sort of famous subject here in the Lake District for photographers. However, a lot of the photographs you'll see of the Langdales will be from the other side, around the sort of Blee Tarn area or Loughrig Fell, and the photographs over there are absolutely gorgeous. But for me today, it's really nice to be able to grab a shot of the Langdales from a completely different perspective. I think it's quite cool. And so as you can see at this moment in time, we are getting some beautiful light on the Langdales. And we've got these sort of two fells or crags here to the left and right hand side of me, and this is really what caught my eye on the way up here. I looked back towards the Langdales and back towards the Borrowdale Fells over in that direction, and it was just framed perfectly by these two crags here. Absolutely gorgeous. So it's like a sort of U shape down in the bottom of the frame. And then what I'm doing, because I'm shooting in a panorama, in pano, well, it's not really a mode, is it? I'm shooting a panorama. I'm getting some of this snow down here in the foreground as well, so it's telling a really, really nice story. Because one thing, you know, I think when you're looking at the mountains from down below, you know, when you're just in a town or something looking up, sometimes it's hard to tell if it's just a little sprinkling of snow up the top, or if it's like we've had today. So I think I've really wanted to include some of this snow down here, just to tell this sort of ground level story. You know, it is knee deep, sometimes hip deep snow as I've experienced today, but yeah, beautiful frame of this sort of U shape. We've actually got a pretty nice sky as well. Whoa, we're about 30 minutes till the sunset, so I am going to hang around, see if the light gets better, but I'm pretty sure this is the best that we're going to get. But absolutely glorious scene. We can see over towards Helvellyn and everything over there, where you can see tons of snow on the peaks. So as plan B's go, I am absolutely delighted with this photograph, and it really is looking as if I've bagged my December shot, so I'm absolutely over the moon. I'll pop this one up for you guys to see. I hope you like it. Right, so, whoa, it's suddenly gone a little bit grim, to be honest. The wind's picked up. You can see there's a few stormy clouds in the background, although this is going to be advantageous for my photograph. And it's gone very dark very quickly, as it does in winter. Now, I think I prefer the last photograph, but this is going to be decent as well. One thing that I really like about this is it's very, very winter. You know, the last photograph, only the sort of top third maybe of the Langdale Pikes was covered in snow. You know, there's a lot of sort of areas of non-snow in the bottom of the photograph as well, whereas this is just snow everywhere. So again, really good photograph to depict this time of year, you know, December or January, especially up here in the Fells in the Lake District. So I'm shooting this at ISO 100, f11 and 1/2 of a second. I'll come back to that in a minute. The settings are quite important. Compositionally, it's quite simple. We've got red tarn here in the foreground. That's actually where I sat earlier to have my pasty. And I tell a lie, it's not really in the foreground, it's kind of in the midground. And then we get that one peak in the background, which is adding so much interest there. And then the foreground is just snow. Absolutely fantastic. Now my settings, quite importantly, I'm actually deliberately overexposing almost. When you're shooting in scenes like this where there's tons of snow, you need to be quite careful with your exposure. Often your meter on your camera or even your histogram sometimes can lie to you, and it can sort of underexpose. You know, when you get it back, you'll have thought that your histogram and everything, your meter look perfect, but you've actually underexposed, and the snow can come out looking like a horrible grey colour with a bit of a blue tinge. So just be careful when you're out. A lot of the times when there's so much snow like this, you actually need to deliberately overexpose. So that's why I've done that 1/2 of a second. We've actually got a little bit of colour in the sky at the minute as well, which is nice. Focus to infinity. Whoa, 35mm on the 16 to 35. Absolute top draw. So before I show you that, a couple of things I want to quickly mention. Firstly, I'm doing workshops, and I'm super excited about it. I've only just announced it, on my Instagram yesterday, I believe. Super excited. There's no point in me standing here and telling you all about it, because obviously I've made a whole page dedicated to it on my website. I'll stick it up in the corner here, and I'll put a link in the description below. I'd love for you guys to go and check that out. It's something that I'm really excited about. Secondly, I got this head torch sent to me from a company called Olight, and it is unreal. I needed a head torch, and I was really lucky because these contacted me and said, we'll give you a head torch for free if you do a review. I said to them I didn't really want to do a review, but if I like the product, I'll happily mention it to my audience. Guys, if you want a head torch, this is unreal, like absolute class. This specific model is called the Perun, and I'll put a link to this in the description below. It is just fantastic, incredibly bright, fantastic battery life. The build quality is absolutely outstanding, so I would highly recommend it. I will only ever recommend things to you guys that I genuinely use and believe in, you know. Also, they've got a Christmas sale on. These are fairly expensive. Between now and Christmas, they've got an unreal sale on. Again, same as the workshops. I'll put a link in the old description. So I'll pop this image up for you guys to see now. I really hope you like it, and then I'm going to leave you there. Thank you guys ever so much for watching as always. Same as last week, please give the video a like and leave a comment. It really helps my videos get seen on YouTube for some reason. But above all, thanks for the support. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you next week on the next adventure. Out.